Hi, welcome, Cindy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We were just chatting a little bit about the joy I'm having in doing these chats. So I'm grateful that you carved out a little bit of space to join me and talk about your experience having been coached with me. I and Cindy is also one of my beginning uh clients that I worked with, and we've been having an amazing working relationship with one another since then. And so I'm very grateful to have you here, especially since you've seen the evolution of my coaching work over the years. So to start out, I'd like you to introduce yourself and share with me what what got you here? Like why did you find yourself needing coaching? What did you want to achieve whenever you ultimately came in to work with me? So let's start there. Tell us a little bit about you and what got you to coaching with me.
Yeah. So I have known Ramona for, gosh, probably about 15 years now and knew her through the yoga practice and meditation practice and things like that she would run. And so I knew her heart, and I knew that if I needed extra support, she would be a great person to reach out to. So about 8 years ago, I was really feeling stuck. I have a professional career in a large corporation, and I was really feeling kind of like, is that all there is? I'm married and I have a corporate job, and kids are not in the cards for us. So what am I gonna do? And I spent a few years examining this on my own with no help, just kind of going through options in my head of like, I really would like a personal goal, because corporate goals, you find you don't have total control. There's so many factors at play. If you make your personal goal something tied to your job, it may be out of your control, especially in large companies like what I work for. And so there was, not any opportunities for promotion because that's not what the company had available. So looking at trying to move into leadership there was not like, there was just wasn't any goal there. So I wanted a personal goal that I could pursue with my own effort and to seek my own rewards without relying on anyone else, anything else to bestow it upon me. So I determined before working with Ramona that I really wanted to start a farm. I thought alpacas would be great. My husband and I went up to North Carolina. We met this alpaca farmer who left the corporate world and was leading alpaca treks through the Smoky Mountains.
Mm.
Like, this is wonderful. And he was so calm and just embodied all of the things that I wanted to be that I was not in this corporate setting. So I'm like, okay, maybe there's an animal goal. I love animals, and thought, okay, we could do this. Alpacas, because I am a fiber artist in my free time. I knit and crochet and weave and things like that. So I thought, this would be animals I could raise that I could keep for the fiber that they produce, and have like maybe a little side business, but just a goal that I could have where I could learn and grow as a person within my control. And then I got stuck. So I was stuck in my corporate job in a company that I just wasn't feeling aligned with, and I was stuck with my personal goal because I was starting to do research and it just wasn't going anywhere, and I couldn't figure out why. Thankfully, I had an appointment for Reiki with Ramona on the schedule, and she and I started talking, and I was just feeling so frustrated. She said, I have this program that might help you. If you have a goal in mind and you're trying to reach it, this could help you. And that's when we started coaching together.
Awesome. Yeah. So during that coaching time together, what did you learn that and what did you find most valuable?
There's so much. I credit the coaching program for completely transforming my life.
Oh,
And the first and most used skill that I got from the program was self-observation. Um, I and I think a lot of people, especially in the corporate world, like, you're never taught to take the time to really reflect on how you feel regularly, to check in with yourself and determine if something is aligned with your vision and your future or not aligned. And I think we see like buzz clips about it or like corporate speaky kind of things, but Ramona taught me skills where I could check in so regularly with myself that I learned pretty quickly, is this aligned with me or is this not something I need to be a part of? And I examined my whole life that way. And that's what led me to the decision to leave the large company I was with and go to a different company that actually ended up being a drastically better fit. And the reason why I didn't just pick a company that would hire me. I put out my own set of goals for this company. What job did I want? And I came up with the type of work I wanted to do, the type of company and culture I wanted to work for. I just had it all, the vision in my mind.
Mhm.
And then the vision was so like you look at all the job descriptions and immediately like this is the one that aligns with my vision. And it was just such a seamless process because I was able to check in with myself in advance, come up with that vision, that goal, and transition. And I've been really happy with my new company since then.
So I'm curious because you at the beginning you said that you were looking for personal goals to be able to help shift, but then it bled over into your corporate life. So
Yeah.
talked about that a little bit because I remember this whole thing rolling out and you coming in being like, you know what? I don't want to be here anymore. I want to find something that's going to take me to my next level or allow me to grow or give me challenges that ultimately
Yeah.
are going to gift me the opportunity to use skills that I don't have. And so I would really love to hear a little bit about that process and how, because like, was that even part of your stuckness when you came in the door, or was it something that was realized through the process?
Yeah. I didn't love my job, but I was kind of resigned to it at that time, just because it was a company culture that was very much like, well, this is clearly the best company ever, and you will never work for something better. So I just didn't question it because I was being told, like, why would you ever leave? You'd be crazy. So I was trying to come up with this personal goal to kind of satisfy myself on the inside, and just figured I have to keep making money because if I'm going to have a farm, like that costs a lot of money. So we want to make sure that there's income coming in. So I started the program thinking, all right, I've got this source of income and I will just transition this money into my farm goal. And then once I started learning the skills in the coaching program of observation, I started realizing how unaligned my job was to who I wanted to be and how unhappy it was making me to the point where I was so unhappy. It wasn't a stressful job. It was not challenging enough.
Mhm.
And I was so stressed about it that I lost my gallbladder. Um, and I thought maybe it was because I just didn't have a goal in my life and I was just kind of aimless, but the job was absolutely a contributing factor
Yeah.
to having a health problem because I was so stressed at being so stagnant and not being challenged. That going to work every day was miserable.
Mhm.
So the coaching program not only taught me to check in with myself about how I was feeling with all aspects of my life, but also empowered me to feel like actually maybe I could do better. I know my company is saying you can't do better than this, but like if I have a clear vision and this company doesn't have that job and another company does, then maybe that's what's meant to be for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that. So even in that transition, there was still application that had to be given to that process because, even when make a change that is aligned, doesn't mean that we don't still get the opportunity to grow. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, change is one thing I definitely learned through this. Change is hard, even good change. And I tell this to my friends that are going through good change. Changing jobs was for the better. Absolutely. I've been with my new company for like 7 years now, almost 7 years, and I'm much, much happier. But at first it was very challenging
Mhm.
change because I didn't know anything or anyone in my new company and just kind of had to start, from the bottom as you do with a new corporation, building your reputation, building your network, and that is a lot of effort. And it's scary to feel like, okay, now I'm starting over when I had a good reputation and I had a network before, and now I don't know anything. Um,
And
and
so
the same,
how did the tools you learn though help you
yeah, uh,
navigate that?
doing a lot of self-love and feeling like the time I'm allowed the grace of a period of transition. I don't have to be at the top of my game as soon as I start a new job and I don't know anyone or my audience or anything. Just trusting that this was the right change because it's so closely aligned with my vision, that knowing that, the universe said, this is the job for you, and just really re-emphasizing to myself, I am the same skilled professional I was at my last job. It just takes time to build up some network in a new company. And since I've joined this new company, I've been promoted twice already. So I have the proof now, but at that time it just felt a little scary and uncomfortable. And I'm glad that I saw it through and worked with Ramona each month, or probably every other week at that time, just to check in and like get some reassurance of, no, you're still the same person you were at your last company. Uh, but now you're going to develop new skills, a new network. You just have to be patient with the process and trust that your skills are going to shine in a new
Mhm,
environment.
mhm. Yeah, I think I remember very distinctly that we set up like a meditation practice walking into your office and walking out of like this whole
Hmm.
ritual that helped you to settle in to this process without it feeling so overwhelming. Would that be an accurate observation?
Yeah, yeah. Trying to prepare myself before going in and kind of protect myself from these different energies. The people I worked with, just the culture was different. And in a lot of ways it's good, but in some ways it was very challenging because it was a bit more direct than what I was used to. So protecting myself was really important in the beginning. Now I'm used to the environment and the protection comes a little bit more naturally to me as I enter the office.
Hmm.
Um, but the letting go at the end of the day too, not hanging on to, oh, I wish I had had a contact for that. Oh, I wish I had done that differently. Like I didn't understand what I was asked to do and I did it wrong. We
Yeah.
can let that go. You don't have to carry
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Can you explain what you mean by protection so that our audience that's listening to this that maybe isn't in touch with their understanding of our energy and how it's affected?
Yeah, when you're in an environment that doesn't feel good. So that's back to the observation piece. You have to be in touch with what feels right and normal and correct in your body. And when you are put into a situation where you are feeling uncomfortable by the people that are in that situation and how you're being addressed or how they're addressing each other even, and it makes you feel kind of ick, or like I don't know how to handle this, because it's just not aligned with who you are as a person, your personality, your style. I think it's important to take the time to to protect your energy by just being really conscious of how you don't want to internalize those messages, right? Like you don't, if someone is being direct or aggressive in their tone, it probably isn't even anything personal, or it's kind of their thing. That's how that they are having an issue and it's coming out as this directness or aggression or discomfort to me,
Hmm.
as a really sensitive person. But it is their issue and not actually mine. So protecting my energy is trying to be conscious of uh not absorbing
Yeah.
that and taking it on as, oh, they think so I must be whatever nonsense.
Mhm. Yeah. And this directly goes towards the nervous system regulation and understanding that that some of us are highly empathic, and that is part of our intuitive senses is being able to kind of read. Like I have that. I walk in a room, I can read the room. I'm like, oh gosh,
Hmm.
okay, here we are. And then I have to adjust my energy to the frequency that allows me to be in that space. And so through understanding that we're energetic beings and we have physical, mental, emotional aspects of ourself that we're wanting to bring into alignment, mind, body, spirit, right? Like it's that how can we be the most aligned? And I love that you used that word earlier, that you sort of had to start to learn how to do things that were in alignment with you and that higher knowing and that inner guidance system, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I love that. I'd love to hear from you. Why has coaching been a great decision for you?
Coaching got me to where I wanted to be. So I was feeling stuck and I lost my gallbladder and just, this is just doesn't feel good. And since I started coaching, I changed my job to work for a company that values me more and that is better aligned with not only my skill set, but also just culturally. It's far more aligned. And that makes my day-to-day workday a lot more comfortable than it used to be. And once I took on this new job and went through the adjustment period, then it was the program that really helped me to uncover what was holding me back from my dream of having a farm. And once I did a lot of self-reflection and I did a lot of journaling about, why am I feeling stuck? And I realized I was just kind of waiting for someone in authority to give me permission to
Mhm.
have a farm. Uh, that was kind of the key. I don't need someone else to give me permission. I can give myself permission because we were, financially set up to make this move and found a way to do it, sustainably. The only thing that was holding me back was me giving myself permission.
Oh, I love
Um,
that. So that is so good.
and I wouldn't have
Only
realized. I mean, I
person
remember
holding me back was me to
yeah,
give
I, I,
myself permission. Oh,
I didn't realize it for the longest time. And it was the program that helped me reflect deep enough to go, wait a minute, I'm looking for somebody else to say, yes, you can do this. And I don't need that. So within a month of having that realization, I remember the moment that I came to it, I was so frustrated and I was like waiting for my husband to give me permission. He's along for the ride. And went to financial advisors for permission and like I'd done all this stuff, realtors for permission, and I didn't need to do any of that. It was me. And once I made that decision, then within a month we were looking at farm properties, and within 4 months we had moved to our farm property. And then from there, the universe said, okay, you're on your farm property. You want fiber animals? Here's a friend that has some sheep that needs to be rehomed. So then I suddenly had a month's notice to set up my new farm property to have sheep that I didn't know anything about because I was studying alpacas. And now we have 27 animals on our property.
mhm.
We have 17 sheep and 3 llamas, and then the rest are all cats. And it's exactly what I wanted. All of the learning journey, learning about this species, learning about how to be a farmer, and own livestock. It has been exactly what I wanted it to be. I set a goal for myself, and I have met that goal, and I am so proud of everything that I have done to commit to this dream and be a steward for these animals. It's exactly what I wanted. And now I'm looking at the future going, oh, if I did this, if I put in the work and manifested this great new job and this beautiful farm and all these wonderful animals, what else can I do? Where can we go next?
Yeah,
And so
sky's the
that's kind of
limit,
where I'm
right?
on the journey now. And that's why it's so important to me to continue coaching, and working with Ramona, because now there's always little bumps in the road and places where you might get stuck. And Ramona always keeps me on track, and we're looking at the future, and addressing it in a really healthy way. And just it keeps me aligned with the person I want to be.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. You want to talk about somebody who's a magical manifester and doesn't even know it? This lady right here. Like the things that she has manifested and how fast. Like when she finally like puts herself in that space of alignment, it just it moves really, really fast. So we are our worst enemy, right? We do the worst to ourselves. So I love seeing how you have learned to overcome the noise and to really step back and become that observer and find your truths and then move forward with them. And so um, I'm grateful you were able to share how this has impacted your entire life experience, because that's what I always try to share, is that it's not one part of your life that we're working with, it's the whole experience that you're having. Because uh, being my background being in yoga, it's that trinity, mind, body, spirit. How are we aligning ourselves so that we are the greatest version of ourselves, living that wholeness, right?
Yeah.
So I want to ask this one last question. What is a piece of advice or wisdom you want to share with someone who is thinking about coaching with me?
It is worth the time investment. And don't stress too much about the time investment. Because once you're in the program, at least for me, I've found that some of the work is very intentional. I'm sitting down, I'm watching the videos, I'm doing the journaling exercises, I have set aside time for meditation. But a lot of the gifts of the program come when I'm not directly focusing on the program, when I'm driving to work. And then just all of a sudden, I have an epiphany of, oh, when Ramona said this, I could see how this applies now to the current situation. Um, so the initial time investment of the program is absolutely worth it because there's a lot of like passive learning that will happen once you start exposing yourself to these ideas, the tenets of the program. It just becomes part of how your brain works. Um, so yeah, the number of hours on of program is not a big deal and it's absolutely worth it. It changed my whole life. Like
Uh,
I couldn't recommend it enough.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Yeah, and I thank you for sharing that perspective, because since my teachings come from my background as a yoga teacher and an energy healer, that's absolutely like the purpose with yoga, right? It's like, how do you take what you're experiencing on the mat, that 30, 90 minutes that you're moving your body through postures and breath work and meditation. It's not about what's happening in that moment. It's about how you're walking off the mat and carrying what you've gained through that practice into your life.
Mhm.
And for me, that was the game changer, was finding yoga, because it turned chaos into
Mm.
manageable experience instead of me just feeling like I was a victim to my life. So I love that you brought that piece in, because that is near and dear to my heart. So um anything else you want to share before we close our time?
I'm just so grateful for the years that we spent together, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next manifestations, the next things that I'm going to learn in this program.
Awesome. Well, with that, I with infinite gratitude, thank you so much for being here. And I close all of my chats with the same thing. So it's the light in me honors the light in you, and you are in that place in you, and I'm in that place in me. We are one. Namaste.
Namaste.